What moment made you realize your parents saw you as free labor? The police called at 4 in the morning to tell me they found my grandmother naked in a grocery store parking lot trying to get into strangers' cars. I had been searching everywhere for 3 hours, screaming grandma's name until my throat was raw. We tried calling the 2 adults listed as her primary contacts, but it goes straight to voicemail. You were listed as the emergency contact even though our records show you're only 16 years old. My hands wouldn't stop shaking as I drove to the police station knowing exactly why my parents weren't answering. They're on a cruise and the ship's Wi-Fi costs $50 a day, so they only check in once a week. The officer's mouth fell open. How long have you been taking care of her by yourself? 2.5 years since I was 13. You've been her sole caregiver since you were 13? Family helps family. The officer sat down. Tell me about your typical day. I wake up at 5 to get her ready. What does that mean? I change her diaper, get her dressed. She fights me sometimes. He was writing everything down. Then what? Breakfast. I hide her pills and applesauce. Do you go to school? If she's having a good day? How many days have you missed? 43 this year. His pen stopped. You're failing school to change diapers? My face got hot. Someone has to do it. What about after school? I run home. She can't be alone more than 4 hours. Why not? Last time she turned on all the stove burners. Before that she drank bleach thinking it was milk. The officer put down his pen. When do you sleep? I don't really. She wakes up confused every hour. You haven't slept through the night in 2.5 years? That's when it hit me how tired I was. I guess not. The social worker arrived and started asking questions. When did you last see friends? I couldn't remember. When did you last go to school for a full week? I couldn't remember. What about your health? I started crying. My grades went from straight A's to failing. I can't sleep more than 2 hours at a time. Did you tell your parents this was too hard? They say I'm being dramatic when I complain, and that families who love each other make sacrifices for each other. That's when I broke down crying. She looked at me with pity and said, "You're 16 doing the job of a trained nurse while your parents take vacations. That's child abuse." My parents finally called back 12 hours later. I could hear drunk people laughing and music lasting when the officer put them on speaker so everyone could hear. "We don't need this drama right now." My father's voice was slurred and angry. "Sir, your mother was found naked and confused, and your minor daughter has been her sole caregiver for years." My father got louder. "That ungrateful little bitch lives in our house for free. All we ask is that she watches her grandmother while we finally enjoy the life we've earned." The social worker grabbed the phone. "She's 16 years old and missing school to provide full-time care for someone with advanced dementia." My mother's drunk screaming came next. "That selfish brat can't even do us this one favor without whining to the police like we're criminals." The social worker's voice was ice cold. "Changing adult diapers and managing violent dementia episodes aren't favors for a child to do." Then my father said the words that made everyone in the room gasp. "She can get out of our house and live on the streets. We're done supporting a selfish little bitch who can't even help her own family without crying to the cops about it." I felt like I couldn't breathe. The social worker asked if I had anywhere safe to go, and I remembered my cousin Diane who lived 3 hours away. She's been begging to help with grandma, but my parents said they didn't need charity from that side of the family. Diane screamed through the phone when the social worker called. "I knew they were using that kid as free labor. She drove all night to get me, but I was terrified to leave. What about grandma? She needs her pills. She'll be so scared without me." I was sobbing and couldn't stop. "Your grandmother needs professional care that a teenager can't provide. Your parents have 1 week to get back and arrange that for her. If they don't, they'll be charged with elder abuse and child neglect." I started panicking. "She won't understand where I went. She'll be scared." Diane hugged me while I sobbed. "Your grandmother needs professional help and you need to be a teenager." The choice was obvious, but it still hurt. Now that I live with Diane, I sleep 8 hours every night and my grades are back up to all A's. My parents called last week from their cruise to Alaska screaming about the $8,000 monthly cost. "We can't afford as many cruises now because you couldn't handle one simple responsibility." I replied, "Maybe if you hadn't spent my childhood on vacations, you'd have money for her care instead of expecting a 13-year-old to be your free nurse." They hung up and haven't called since.